An island full of mysteries, fishermen who catch nothing, but who don't seem to care. A tea plantation where harvesting is allowed only with gilded scissors. And enlightened elephants. Mysterious wild and green Sri Lanka. There is still plenty of room for wildlife here, not only in the national parks. The sea, numerous lagoons and huge swamps are also home to a great diversity of species. In other parts, Sri Lanka is densely populated. The struggle to make a living a constant challenge for most. The rock fortress of Sigiriya is only one of the numerous testimonies of perished cultures. It was built in 473 AD by a Sinhalese royal dynasty. It's not clear from when the frescoes inside originate. The so-called Cloud Girls were restored in 1970 with great attention to detail. Early morning at Polhena Beach on the south coast. A load of car hoses rolls onto the beach. They are the capital of Anulawati. Her business? Renting out old tires as swimming aids. Anulawati can just about afford the driver. 7 days a week, the 57-year-old is at the beach, and yet she doesn't know whether her earnings will be enough to live on.
Because of Corona, we've had a lot of difficulties in the last few years. Now people are slowly coming back to the beach and there is a bit of business again. But unfortunately, the money is worth less and less. Still, I keep doing the job, even though it's anything but easy.
Anulawati, like most of Sri Lanka's inhabitants, is suffering from the severe economic crisis. The national currency, the rupee, is rapidly depreciating and inflation is eating into their profits. Customers are not supposed to feel this.
Can I have a tire?
For 100 or 150 rupees?
The first 40 euro cents are earned. The swimming tire rental is a good business idea because the majority of the population on Sri Lanka cannot swim. And since the tsunami in 2004, the fear of drowning has increased even more.
Actually, we can all stand here. But we're still scared. With the tire, I have to be a little less careful. My kids can drift on their own, like this.
Now, when there's still little activity, Anulawati likes to join her customers in the sea.
No matter whose children they are, I always prefer to check on them myself. It's better to check everything again.
The competition is closing in. Every few meters, rental companies offer swimming aids at the same prices. Of course, the customer's king.
What's going on?
It's broken. The air went out, just like that.
Yeah, it was already patched. It probably burst again.
The coast of Sri Lanka is over 1,300 kilometers long. The island state with the capital Colombo is located southeast of India and is about the size of Bavaria. Around 22 million people live here. Sri Lanka is a hot spot of sacred sites. First and foremost is Adam's Peak, or Thripada in the local language. On the summit, a temple houses a rocky syncline that is worshipped by 4 world religions, either as the footprint of Buddha, Shiva, Adam, or the Apostle Thomas. Buddhism is the dominant religion, with about 70% of the islanders adhering to this faith, followed by Hindus, Muslims, and Christians. In the capital, Colombo, people are preparing for one of the most important festivals of the year. Here, in the rather inconspicuous Sima Malacca temple, important Buddha relics are kept. And they should be carried through the city in a magnificent procession on the night of the full moon. The Perahera festival attracts Buddhists from all over the world. The modern pavilion in a lake is an outpost of Colombo's oldest temple complex. In the countryside, people are also preparing for the parade in the capital. The masks are still hanging on the wall, but soon they will be worn by young men, the devil dancers. Saman Lokumalage is one of the last to teach the traditional devil dance.
It's a lot of fun to learn this dance. Above all, you have to be able to turn very quickly and also tilt to the side at an angle of 45 degrees for one figure, but no more than that or you'll fall over. You have to dance together with the words. The body must be completely straight and you must hold the arms like this. This arm exactly at the level of the ear and only sneak a peek at the others. And then we do it like this. Take a good look.
This pupil of the dance class likes this particular dance. He has learned a lot from the master, he says, and he's ambitious. He always wants to improve himself. On the other side, they also learn more than dancing here. He reckons they also learn a lot for life. This also includes giving top performances. After all, it's a great honor to perform at the Perahera. At the southern coast of the island, people trade what is almost a staple food in Sri Lanka, fish. The entire coastal road is practically one single fish market. With so many fish stalls, the fishermen are not far away. Anura Alwis Vichavikrama and his colleagues are quite famous fishermen. They know how to handle their wooden fishing rods, but they also know that they don't have to catch fish to be successful.
Visitors take beautiful pictures of us and take them back home. We're something special in Sri Lanka. The tourists know that, so they absolutely need these pictures, and I'm waiting for customers to finally come.
The wooden stands and their users have become icons throughout the country. They are even immortalized on a banknote as a motif. The first customers have arrived. It's not known for how long the stands have existed. They were supposedly created because there was not enough space on the shore rocks for all the fishermen. The business with tourists has developed along the way, but Anura doesn't see himself purely as a photo model.
I'm the third generation in my family that's been fishing here. My grandfather was a fisherman, my father was a fisherman, I'm a fisherman. We've been doing this work for almost 100 years now. I'm 51 years old. My grandfather sat here before me, and then my father, and now me.
Because of bumbling and exorbitant prices for the photos, the reputation of stilt fishermen has suffered. The fee is a matter of negotiation. Anura agrees with the visitor on 1,000 rupees for the shoot, the equivalent of just under €3. Anura has no problems with posing and collecting. He's glad that stilt fishing exists again at all. After the tsunami in 2004, it took years until he and his colleagues could pursue their profession again.
At that time, 28 of my relatives died. More than 100 or even 150 people from my village were simply washed away. And it also hit 2 fishermen when they were sitting here on their stilts, just washed away.
Fish don't bite here now, but the surf roars and the light is right, so at least the photographer on the shore captures a lot of booty. Will the yawning Anura make it into the vacation album? Anulawati, the swim tyre rental lady, has pumped up the defective tyre to see where the air is escaping. Her workshop is the backyard of her apartment. The tyre specialist is her daughter-in-law, Kumuduni. As expected, it's the spot that has been patched before.
Due to the salty seawater, the tyres gradually become porous. Even patched areas loosen over time, and at some point there's nothing more that can be done. Then you have to throw the tyre away.
Kumuduni will try again and hopes that the new patch will last at least a little while. The fact that the 2 women are business partners and Kumuduni repairs tyres was not planned.
I've been at the beach for 17 years. I came back from abroad just before the tsunami. My daughter-in-law had won the tender for this business, but then she was without her husband, my son. He just left her and the kids. She didn't have any help, and so I stepped in. It's actually sad that we both have to do this hard job alone. But we keep going with all our strength.
At least Kumuduni was able to patch the tyre again. They can't afford new used ones, and down by the beach there are now plenty of customers. Always stay close to the shore. Most non-swimmers live in the island's interior and rarely are at the sea. Things are going well today. Parents with children or grandparents with their grandchildren like to come to Anulawati. She has a special offer for the little ones: mini tyres made from tuk-tuk tyres.
If you sit in there, you won't sink.
Yes, child, you're safe with that.
This tyre will keep you afloat.
The important thing is that the tyres give the children security, so they can gradually learn to swim.
Despite rescue tyres, the water is not his element today.
He likes to play in the water, but when the waves come, he gets scared. When there are waves, he jumps on my arm.
Is he afraid?
Yes, he is afraid.
Are you afraid? All in all, yes, I am happy here. Because in the past, many children drowned, and adults too. I provide more safety with my tyres. And it's nice that many children know me now. They even call me Grandma.
But many parents no longer want to rely on Grandma's tyres alone. For some time now, there has also been swimming training at Polena Beach. Yala National Park is the oldest nature reserve on Sri Lanka. Several hundred animal species are at home here. Encounters are not the exception, but the rule. Sometimes one feels reminded of Africa, but here it's the Asian elephant that scares away crocodiles. Safari traffic jams are not uncommon in the animal paradise, and that's mainly due to him. The Sri Lanka leopard is the superstar of the park. About 40 specimens live here. Master Saman puts the finishing touches to the masks at the Devil's Dance Group.
When the masks break, we mix this paste. 3 ingredients we need: glue, sawdust and plaster. If we mix the 3 together, you can make a paste like this, and it's good for repairing these damaged areas.
The masks symbolize different demons. In the belief of the rural population, they can be used to exorcise diseases.
There are many different masks for dancers. This one is from the south of Sri Lanka, and it's made up of lots of cobra heads. First, there are 4 on each side, and then 1 at the top, another 5 in the middle, and there are 2 cobra heads at the bottom of the nose. And the dancers who choose these masks are called Cobra Devil dancers.
නාගයා මුල් කරගත්ත සංකේතවත් කරමින් තමයි ඒ රාස නැට්ටුවෙක් නාග රාසයෙක් ඇටියෙ.
The transformation from teenager to devil dancer is quick. The traditional dress includes sarongs, miniskirts and masks.
Where's the other mask?
Another short tribute to the master. Then it's time to board the bus to Colombo. Most of them have already taken part in the Great Perahera parade, but routine only will not work here. That's what the master told them. In the center of the city, one can already sense that the festival of the year is about to begin. The VIP stands have been erected. Buddhist monks from all over Asia have arrived, and many spectators have been occupying the best seats along the procession route for hours. At the Sima Malacca temple, the big moment is approaching. A procession of emissaries from Buddhist temples around the world moves to the pavilion on the lake to pick up relics and a variety of devotional items for the procession. The procession participants walk on a white linen cloth, which expresses the special respect for the temple relics. Despite festival fever, everyday life in the 600,000 inhabitant metropolis continues to keep going. The railroad is one of the main means of transport in Sri Lanka. It carries over 100 million passengers annually. The rail network dates back to British colonial times. The special charm, many kilometers of track offer more or less unobstructed sea views. The countless trains not only serve as a means of transportation, they are also a workplace and livelihood. Saman Fernando is a train musician. Every day he spends in the suburban trains outside the rush hour. In crowded compartments, he wouldn't get to play with his equipment. The centerpiece, his electric piano, is not only bulky but also frugal.
I'd like a better keyboard. This one is really just for kids. I would need a more professional keyboard for my work. It would allow my music to unfold much better.
The conditions today, ideal, because not too many people are on the road. Nevertheless, Saman will hardly be able to enjoy the sea view.
The job is exhausting, also because the amplifier is so heavy. But because I like to make music, I put up with it. Actually, I'm not even allowed to play on the train. I'm constantly afraid of being arrested by the police. I can't even tell you how many times I've been in court just because I make music.
Connect the electric piano, the audience is ready. Saman sings himself, focusing his repertoire on popular local classics from the 60s and 70s, which he says people love. The first day's earnings, 200 rupees, about 50 euro cents. Not bad at all for a start. The whole morning it goes back and forth like this. Then a short break at his starting station. Long enough to dream a little. Like a talisman, he always has the article about himself and other musicians with him. Headline, "Why aren't they superstars?"
I'd like to be a superstar. It would be great if that happened. I always hope that someone will discover me on the train and turn me into a star.
And on it goes for Saman within minutes. Anura, the stilt fisherman, waits at a railroad crossing and uses the time for a chat with the guard. He earns the equivalent of about €1 per day. In contrast, Anura is almost well off with his double business, photos and fish. As a photo model outside at the stilts, it was worthwhile for Anura today. He was able to get the fish for dinner from the market. His house is not far from the coast. He built it after the tsunami destroyed his parents' home. His daughter Anuradha is already waiting for the fish. They will cook curry. Anuradha has moved back in with her parents. Money is tight. She studied. A life as a housewife was not really the goal.
This is what the men came up with. We women have to stay home and cook, and the men get to earn money.
The fish curry, a kind of national dish in Sri Lanka, needs plenty of curry. Anuradha lives under one roof with her son, husband and parents. A large part of everyday life takes place outdoors. The shower saves enormously on drinking water thanks to a rainwater reservoir. The aquarium is a hobby for stilt fisherman Anura. His daughter was once a national boxing champion until she became a mother.
For us in Sri Lanka, family life is something very important. We need this cohesion, and if we stay together as a family, then we're strong.
Sri Lanka's elixir of life is tea. About 2 million islanders work in the billion-dollar industry. Only a few select women are allowed to pick tea on the Handunugoda plantation. With gilded scissors, an extremely exclusive tea is harvested in a surgically sterile manner here. Virgin white tea, supposedly the only tea in the world untouched by humans. Exclusively available only in a luxury tea store in Paris. Price per kilo, 3,400 euros. Malinga Herman Gunaratne is the plantation owner. He had the idea to grow the white tea here. He was inspired by a British tea expert who told him a very, very old story from China.
The story goes, this is 5,000 years ago, that the Chinese mandarins at that time, they are said to have employed virgins to cut the white tea with golden scissors. It is said to have fallen into a golden bowl, and it was given as a tribute to the emperor. And they say the only part of the body that touched the tea were the lips of the emperor.
Tea of the highest purity, obtained in the middle of the rainforest, very unusual for a tea plantation. And there is something else that's special about this plantation. It is the only one in Sri Lanka that is located close to the Indian Ocean. Tea connoisseurs worldwide rave about its subtle, salty note. Malinga Herman comes from a wealthy Sri Lankan family, but he also had to work his way up on what were then still British plantations. His company is one of the few family-run tea farms. His ancestors lived under British colonial rule when Sri Lanka was still called Ceylon. His son studied at Oxford, and Margaret Thatcher congratulated him on graduating.
My family, my grandfather here had some tea land. Had some, very small, 200 acres, long years ago, 130, 140 years ago. However, this plantation upon which I am now was a rubber and a coconut plantation. When I left the British plantations and then the government-owned plantations, I had to obviously do something that I knew. So I came back here and I planted the whole estate in tea. What you see here today is what has been planted by me.
On Handunugoda, one feels transported back to colonial times. The factory halls look anything but modern. The exclusive white virgin tea is not produced here, but the traditionally common black and green teas. The machines, true antiques, up to 150 years old.
I don't see the need for new machines because the new machines cost 300 times the cost of these machines, and they do only the same job.
This is how Malinga Herman produces, just as his forefathers and the colonial masters did, cost-savingly. Also thanks to the Tamil labor force, whose earnings he would never divulge. Malinga Herman has shipped the museum-ready machines here from disused factories. A coup, he thinks. They still work purely mechanically.
Newer machines are all computer controlled. And if a computer chip, something happens, you got to get a fellow from Japan. I mean, here, the mechanic next door can repair it.
And so, on the Handunugoda plantation, everything goes on as it always has. Saman, the trained musician, is still on his compartment tour. Business was better in the past. In the economic crisis, there is no longer as much money. And so Saman just can't get any closer to his big dream. Nevertheless, at the end of his working day, he treats himself to a trip to his favorite store. Saman has been eyeing a new keyboard for a long time. The store owner already knows him and lets him try out the instrument again and again, but only on mute, which saves electricity.
I don't have my own apartment. I live in a sublet. With a better keyboard, I would earn more money, could live a better life, and, above all, afford my own apartment. If I had a professional keyboard, I could also be a solo entertainer at parties.
There is no gambling on the ride home. At the end of the day, Salman is a passenger, without fear of being caught by the police. Night falls in Colombo, full moon night. And every full moon night in the Sinhalese month of Navam, the great Perahera procession takes place. The procession with the Buddhist relics is at its destination. They are carefully handed over to the chosen elephants. The animals are considered sacred in Buddhism. Last instructions for the devil dancers. Master Saman corrects the posture to the last centimeter. Every published photo increases the fame of his dance troupe. With the mask on their heads, the dancers are completely dependent on their master from now on.
I don't dance along, and I don't drum. Someone has to watch and direct the dancers, show them where to go. They need help because they can't see much with the masks on.
The decorated elephants are particularly excited as they form the front of the procession, wired to a pickup truck on the bed of which the generator is carried. The elephant is the light figure in Buddhism, the embodiment of Buddha himself. Yet there are their very earthly legacies which could become a tripping hazard for parade participants. That's why the city's sanitation department always marches along. The Full Moon Parade is a showcase of the best dancers and artists in the country. The devil dancers don't have an easy time with their vision-obstructing wooden masks and limit themselves to the simple dance steps for the time being. The competition is much more agile. But then Master Saman directs his protégés to the center of attention at the right moment. The king figure, the turn with the upper body bent at a 45-degree angle. A quick support before his dancer falls over.
Go over there. It tastes good to the ears and also to the eyes. All the spectators are happy. A very, very beautiful procession.
The devil dancers have delivered at the Full Moon Parade on Sri Lanka, this dazzling and mysterious island in the Indian Ocean.